Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to iTouch App Reviewers. This is a much requested video. I'm going to be going over the MacBook Pro, the brand new 8-core model that just came out, and I'm going to be ranking it and helping you guys decide if it is right for you. Now, first off, the 8-core model only comes in the 15-inch model. You cannot get it on the 13-inch, but that's kind of to be expected. So let's go ahead and look at our buying options here. So as you guys know, I have done these comparisons on just about every MacBook Pro, Mac Mini, everything that came out this year and last. I've done videos on these, so if you guys want to go look at those, if you're trying to decide, go check those videos out. But this one specifically is for the 8-core variant. So if we click on the 15-inch model here, as you can see, we've got a couple options here. We've got the Touch Bar and Touch ID 2.6 GHz 6-core processor with turbo boost up to 4.5 GHz, 256 gigs of storage. And if you jump up a model, $400 here, you get the Touch Bar and Touch ID model with 2.3 GHz 8-core processor with turbo boost up to 4.8 GHz and 512 GB storage standard. You can see there are actually some other changes as well. The Radeon Pro 560X with 4 gigs of GDDR5 memory comes with this one. And this one is also the i9 processor. This one is the i7. So those are really the only two options you've got here. All right, so let's select this one right here. Now, if you guys go into this, you can see here that you can actually select this 8-core 9th gen. This is actually a little different than the other one. This one's 2.4 gigahertz and turbo boost up to 5. And then obviously you can get the 560X and the 512. That'll be up an extra $200. So if we go back again, click on this one, which, wait for it to load. We can choose this one. And as you can see, the base is $27.99, but that is without this one. So the last one that I just configured, I added this to it, and obviously it adds $200. So boom, now we have the exact same as the other one that I just loaded up. So really, if you want the cheaper one, obviously get the 6-core i7. Now personally, I'm just gonna give you guys some anecdotal information here. I am running the i9 6-core from 2018, and it has been a beast. Now there were new ones that came out a little bit later in 2018, which I did not get. Those had the upgraded video card, but regardless, you know, these are great machines. These are the Vega ones. I didn't get that. I got the 560X, I believe. If these are really worth it to you, you guys can watch my other video on that. I went over this in detail. So really, this is the machine that probably a lot of you guys that are watching this video are looking at. So you're trying to decide between these two processors right here. Personally, I don't think it's worth the extra 200 to jump up to 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. For you, it might be worth it, but for I think most people, I think you would be better off saving that $200 and maybe putting it towards the RAM or towards one of these better video cards. So personally, if I was going to get one of the better video cards, I would bump it up to the best. But that's because I do a lot of Final Cut Pro 10, especially editing in 4K. So this definitely would help. If they would have had this when I picked mine up, I probably would have gotten it as well, but obviously they didn't. Storage, I always pick 512. I think on my next one, I might pick 1 terabyte. That's just because video files are getting bigger these days, but I'm totally cool with 512. I just have to remember to clear out all of the video files once I'm finished. Now, this is not for your average person. If you are just an average user of a MacBook and you're looking at this 9th gen i9 processor with 8 cores, you definitely do not need this. I can tell you guys, this 6-core is definitely capable for the average MacBook Pro buyer. You definitely don't need the 8-core, so don't think that you have to jump up to this more expensive model. I know I usually recommend the top of the line for most of my videos, but that's just because I don't want you guys to get disappointed. But in this case, this 8-core one is a freaking beast, but the 6-core one is no slouch. It is definitely fast enough to keep up with just about anything you can throw at it. I haven't had any issues with that. So really, it's gonna come down to price. And in this case, if you are someone that is constantly working with video files like 24/7, you guys can definitely check out the 8-core. But if you're just looking at the MacBook Pro because you think that the MacBook Air is not enough for you, you don't need this 8-core one. It is probably overkill for most of you guys out there. If you have the budget, obviously go for it. It's not a bad machine by any means. In fact, most of the reviews going over it have said that the throttling from the heat, which is obviously a huge concern, is not as bad as you would think. Apple has really tried to mitigate that with the software, but I do want to leave you guys with one other thought. You know, if you're going to get this, obviously I would get the 32 gigs of RAM, and you don't have to get the Radeon Pro Vegas or anything, so you could drop this down to 3200. But I want you guys to remember that next year we might be seeing a complete remodel of the MacBook Pro. Usually MacBook Pros are on a 4-year cycle, and obviously this model that looks like this came out in 2016. So 2020 could be the year that we get a completely redesigned MacBook Pro. If that's the case, we have been hearing rumors of a 16-inch MacBook Pro with either OLED or micro LED display, which would look a lot better than the current ones. But the current ones look great. I just want to get that out there. But OLED or micro LED could really push the technology forward and the entire industry as a whole. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, well, I don't want a 16-inch MacBook, chances are it would be the same form factor as this. They would just remove these bezels. It would be a bezel-less display. It would look really good. Now, I'm all in on my MacBook Pro. I mean, I put in like $3,500 or $3,700 to mine. I'll probably be keeping it for another year or two, maybe 3, depending on how things go. But it will be so tempting to get a new one. So I don't want you guys to dump over $3,000 into a machine here that you're going to feel is not adequate, I guess, in the next year or so. So I just want to put that out there. There could be a redesigned MacBook Pro in 2020. Obviously, none of this is set in stone. Stay tuned to the channel because I always report on these rumors with the most accurate and up-to-date rumors that we get. So stay tuned. But if you do need one now, when you're spending this much money, get one that you're going to be happy with for a long time. If an 8-core 9th gen processor is what you want, by all means, go for it. But for the average user, this is overkill. This MacBook Pro is aimed directly at the professional markets. So most people watching this video probably don't need it. But then again, maybe you searched for this video on purpose, so maybe you do need it. I don't know. So that's all I got for this video, guys. Hopefully it helped you out. If it did, hit it with a big thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.